Hasqual Tanaya, Yutal Tanak Queen Kushaman, Kelley McReynolds, Queen Sna, Tanaklincha Aslahano Homeo, on Monoxton Swallowin, Ilton Sequeto. Everybody's story is so important because it brings that connection to the lands, that connection to the families, the connection to our community, and so it's every story needs to be told. And I think even when they're very difficult stories to tell, I think it's being able to look at how this situation felt for somebody, how they experienced it, and how they were impacted by it. And that's a very important perspective of a truth to be heard. So I did have the honor of having a very, it's just comfortable conversation with my uncle a couple of months ago, as he was sharing some of his stories, and from Indian day school to living in Aslahan, and his experiences with his friends and how they were treated in the school. I think from there were difficult stories and uncomfortable stories for him to talk about because it was ingrained in them that they were not to talk. And I think as he got more comfortable with it, and I was able to ask him questions just about what life was like on Aslahan Reserve, what life was like living on 3rd Street, talking about our family, talking about my grandparents, his parents, and his brothers and sisters. Our stories are also full of joy. So we've got the intergenerational joy, and your memories and your experiences within that situation are going to be connected to things like what did our community look like back in the day. So it's connecting to that history, those things that, some of our children and our grandchildren today, they don't know what our villages looked like back then. They don't know what our families and how our families functioned back then. So you can talk about those memories, that intergenerational joy, and the good experiences you had, the connections you had to your grandparents, the experiences you had walking down to the river or fishing down at the river, walking through the cedars, the smell of the cedars, the way the mountains looked, and just the connection that we have during that time. It's the taste of the salmon, the smell of the salmon as it's cooking down by the river. So those are also important parts of truth telling and bringing back that history and experiences to present day and moving into the future as well. So it's going to inform our future grandchildren and great grandchildren about how we lived and how we functioned and how we worked together. And I think in listening to my uncle tell the stories, I could feel the presence of the ancestors. I could feel them all around us and, nodding their heads and just sort of agreeing with the story. And it's so important for us not to forget these stories. It is, and just remembering, we come from good people.